Let's take a look at the 6'8" forward out of IMG Academy, headed to Houston, Jarace Walker. We're going to start with the shooting, where he was 4 of 10 from three-point this past season and 68% from the free throw line, according to the season ticket. So obviously you would like to see more volume to really buy into the three-pointer, see the free throw percentage a little higher, but based on the mid-range jumpers, where he was 11 of 21 in the 7 games tracked by Instat, you can see that there may be a foundation for a guy who can knock down jump shots, maybe be a pick and pop guy, and knock down those mid-range pull-ups when the defense takes away his catch and drive. Really nice high-level mid-range jumper here. Not something he did a lot, but I did want to showcase that. He does have a little bit of a lefty lean with that jump shot that I'm interested to see if he improves. The thing that I think I was most impressed by was actually his passing. He averaged 3.5 assists per game, and in this breakdown I want to highlight kind of the variety of which he did it. So here, a set play, but they throw it to him in the post, and then you get this weak side hammer action. He's able to make that baseline pass to a teammate for a wide open shot in the corner. I love this one. So here, he's already reading the defense. He's seeing what's happening before it's even been there, and this pass is going to be out of his hand almost before his teammate is even open. So a really nice high level read. Both of those though, right, stationary reads. What about on the move? Here in transition, you see he's able to catch, immediately go behind the back to his teammate on the weak side. Very unselfish, almost to the point where I thought he should have tried to be more aggressive to score at times, but I really like the passing. Even here, where it's going to be an inaccurate pass, he averaged less than 1 turnover per game. He actually played more in the pick and roll as a handler than as a pick and roll roller or a pop guy, but he does have to work on his accuracy just a little bit. The right read there, the right decision, but it's kind of like with his ball handling, where we're going to see him attack the basket and get to the rim here in transition. Nice move and able to finish, but he's got to tighten his handle up just a little bit. So just some small things that he can work on and continue to progress with. Again, in transition, his number 1 most used play type, 1.1 points per possession, attacks the closeout, gets all the way to the rim, and is able to finish. I like his defensive rebounding. I think he's a guy that goes and aggressively gets the ball, and then he does have a little bit of grab and go. So you're going to see here he's able to attack behind the back, and then the nice right hand scoop finish with an extension there at the rim. Now there is something left to be desired with his layups and finishing around the rim, but I do think it was impressive, his ability to get there. We're going to talk about his defense and rim protection a little bit later, but I mentioned the passing inaccurate times. Here with the handle, you see him get a little loose with it. He's got to tighten that up a little bit if he's going to play on the perimeter as much as what it looks like, but I do think it was impressive. In terms of other things he can bring to an offense in terms of value, I think he's a guy that can play in the dunker spot. I mentioned not a lot of pick and roll, not a lot of pick and pop. I don't know if the pick and roll is something that will get there. I believe in the pick and pop as the shot develops. And then the offensive rebounding. He averaged 2.7 offensive rebounds per game in the 7 games tracked by Instat. What I was most impressed by, his just ability to read this ball off the rim. I think that's what he's really, really good at. With that said, I will say I thought the offensive rebounding numbers were a tad inflated based off his own miss. So his catch and drive, I do really like. He finished at 1.67 points per possession, number 4 most used play type. So we've seen it a lot, but I do think he can finish a little bit better around the rim. Just 41% on layups, as you see him miss that one and then go get his own offensive rebound. As we transition to the defensive side of the ball, we're going to start with his ball screen defense, where he showed some versatility. So here you see him switch, able to stay in front and contest that mid-range jumper. He played some drop coverage, so we're going to see 2 different ball screen there. He drops another one here. He's going to play and drop kind of high, but then able to recover and contest the pick and pop. And then he also blitzed a couple, but what you're going to see here is kind of his mentality right now, which is to be aggressive and be disruptive, ends up forcing a turnover. He may have to be a little bit more fundamentally sound, but I do think that aggressive defense will play into the Houston style. 1 steal per game for Jarace Walker. You see here on ball, that's something he did as well, was be able to just be active with his hands, forcing turnovers. See him get himself a dunk there in transition. Now, I am a little bit interested to see if he's able to stay out of foul trouble with that aggressive style. So here you see him just get a little too up in the ball handler and ends up being a foul. I do think he's going to be switchable on the perimeter, but he did give up some drives, and I think he has to be careful not to get too reliant on letting the ball handler go by and then trying to contest from behind like you see there. Not very many college and especially NBA players are going to miss that, and that's where a lot of his rim protection or blocks, where he did average 2.1 per game, came from. As you see him off ball here, and we transition to that, comes from blocking the offensive player from behind. I really like this. I think this is what he'll do more than be like a true block guy, is just play with verticality. I'm not sure he's going to be like your big at 6'8" that's really the rim protector guy on the back end or banging with big guys on the block. And then I did want to highlight this along with the passing. I thought he was really good when he got a defensive rebound and look up and then get those long outlets and get out in transition. And then finally, I did think he was a good communicator. So here you see a back screen, he points, he talks, multiple possessions of him doing that. And then if he is going to guard more perimeter oriented players, you got to be able to get through screens, and you see him navigate that pin down right there pretty decent. So when we look at Jarace Walker and his overall game, offensively, I do think the shot is something that's going to come around. Those mid-range jumpers in the 7 games tracked by Instat were really good. The three-point shooting, low volume, free throw percentage should definitely get better, but I love his passing, and I do think he can provide a little bit off ball in terms of cutting, dunker spot. And then defensively, I just think the versatility in general that he's going to be able to bring in terms of who he can guard, the defensive ball screen coverages that he provides, and I think he's going to be a high-level defensive rebounder.